When I started off, I was basically charging absolutely nothing and taking on no profits at all.
What kind of growth that you've experienced since we started working together?
So for me, it was charging 10,000 US dollars and doing less work, less creative, and the clients being happy to pay it.
What's up, everybody? I hope you are doing well. Today, I am here with Camilo. He is the founder and CEO of Epic Ads Lab. Camilo's been in the program for the last few months, and so today I am very excited to have him on. I was actually telling him just before we came on to this interview, what I think is very interesting about his story. If you've seen some of the other stuff that I've done, a lot of guys come in and they're already doing 50, 80, 100K a month, and they scaled up. Camilo was at a bit younger stage of his agency, but he was still able to come in, apply the stuff, go from charging 2K to 10K retainers for the exact same package. We're going to get into all of that stuff. But Camilo, super excited to have you here. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Super excited.
Absolutely. Well, cool, man. I like to start these off because everybody always wants to get right into, we're entrepreneurs. We're not very, we're not very patient. And so we want the meat immediately. So I'm going to start with that. Before we get into sort of the processes and things like that, could you share with us what kind of growth that you've experienced since we started working together? Specifically, I'd like to know the difference in the retainers that you were charging, how many enterprise clients that you've signed. Just kind of take us through that.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I started off, I was basically charging absolutely nothing and taking on no profits at all. So we're selling ad creatives, which are the ads that you need to run a campaign to get either sales or to get clients, leads. And we were charging like 2-3K a month for like, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 UGC videos. And we had to pay the creators, pay the editors. And what I got at the end was basically slap in the face for all the work that I was doing. And also the clients were really difficult sometimes. Oftentimes, in fact, I still have one at a low retainer rate that I'm fizzling out right now. So for me, it was going from that to charging 10,000 US dollars and doing less work, less creative, and the clients being happy to pay it. And finishing the calls like, yeah, let's do it, and we get on it. So
yeah, that's awesome, man. No, I love it. And you hit on a big piece that I think that a lot of people overlook, because when we talk about enterprise clients, what draws most people in is that, hey, I can charge 10K a month, 15K a month, whatever. And so the cash is obviously very appealing. Understood. The other side of that I think most people don't really know until they get into that process is the personality or the style or the interaction of the actual client relationship. And so I'd be interested, you kind of touched on a little bit, but I'd be super interested to hear a little bit more about what you found the difference to be from working with the lower level clients that you used to work with versus the enterprise clients that you're now going after.
Yeah, the difference is huge. These enterprise level clients typically they have a lot of money. They've either tried working with an agency before, and they're looking for either more or better. And so it's less of the case of, oh, I need you to save my business. Is more, I think you have a very good business and I think you can definitely help us with XYZ. You're the professional, we pay you, you get it done. And so the relationship is a lot different. Whereas with a lot of low paying clients, it's like, we're doing ad creative, but they're blaming us for the whole business not working. And there's a lot of things that are not working in the business. So even if you're doing cold email, and the websites suck or the closer sucks, like, you'll be blamed because you're like, oh, this lead suck or whatever. So I think the main difference was their attitude and how they perceive what you do as a service. They value it more when they see that you're charging big figures. They go, okay, cool, this is a big service, and so we gotta treat whatever they make with respect. And so way easier to work with. And I found myself just leveling up how I perform for the client. Like, I want to do better. I don't feel like I'm being beaten down for my service and everything is my fault. And like, I'm this little, I don't swear, but you know what I mean? This like little thing that you can just like hear. Yeah. So that's the main difference. And I'm just excited for more to come.
Yeah. Well, I love to hear that. Yeah. It's been really cool to follow along with your growth over the last, you started in December. And so I guess we've only known each other for 5 months now. It feels like a lot longer. But it's been really cool to see that transition for you, both externally in the agency, but only even internally for yourself. And so I think that's been super cool. And so can you walk me through, because I know like we've talked a little bit about the actual delivery or relationship with the client. The big thing here that a lot of people struggle with is obviously acquisition, right? Getting those people through the door. And so I'd love to hear a little bit more about what your acquisition process was like prior to us working together. Like, how did you approach people? How did you find
Mm.
opportunities? How did you generate leads, like talk me through kind of what it looked like before.
Before it was, I tried doing cold email. I did some coaching programs on cold email. I sent 75,800 cold emails and I booked 3 calls. So that was fantastic.
Very specific number. You know exactly how many cold emails you
Yes,
sent. Must
I,
be
I do.
must be hard PTSD in there.
Right here. I'll never forget it. And then after that, I was like, let me pay a cold email agency. And they were pretty good, to be fair. And I think we're booking like 8 to 10 calls um, per month or something like that. So like 3 calls a week, something like that. Which are fine, but cold traffic was in like so hard to sell because you had to sell them on the idea of ads, and we were not getting. For me, it was really hard, and I had to learn sales from that. And then after that, it was kind of Dream 100, sending things to clients, and then just making content. So it was like all over the place. Nothing was really working, not predictable. I couldn't really, I didn't really have the abundance mindset of, oh, I'm gonna have a call tomorrow, so I don't need this. And I'm still working on it, even though I do have a lot more calls coming. Um, but that was the acquisition process beforehand, which is really hard. And it was really hard to find those brands who are making need a lot of ad creative from just the method that I was using.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so prior cold email, which I think, there's nothing wrong with cold email. Obviously, cold email can work, but you hit on something that's really big. And obviously, we're spoiler alert, everything that Camilo's doing now is coming through ads. He's an ad creative agency, so it makes sense that he makes
Makes
really good
sense.
ads. So that those two things obviously align. Now you're going to the ad perspective, and so something that you hit on is that the people who are coming from cold email are obviously a lot more. You don't just have to sell them on you're the right choice. You also have to sell them on, do I even need this service in the first place? Should I even be making ad creative, whatever? Does that matter versus all the other avenues? And so now with ads, the people who are coming to you, they already are looking for the solution you provide. All you have to do is just justify why you're the right choice versus anybody else. Have you
Yeah.
found that to be the case?
Oh, absolutely. I was just gonna say the only thing that really worked for cold email was having a guarantee. And I came from a lot of other coaching programs that were talking about guarantee this, you need to, give them your first child if you don't get them a result. And I was like, I don't have children, so I'm a bit stuck here. No, I found out because that was the case, they would always come into the calls like, okay, so you have a ROAS guarantee or a CPA guarantee. So there's a lot of pressure. Like I even as someone that runs a business, a lot of pressure as well. Especially there's a lot of things you can't control. But when it's the ads, they come and they see the ads. So like a lot of calls have started with, oh, I saw your ads, and I like literally call today was like, oh, you have really nice ads. So it's like, okay, they know the ads work, and then it's just more of a, is it a good fit right now? And then it's just sales tactics that you just have to learn through the reps and through watching your own calls. But the people come in there more like, okay, we know. No one came in there like, what do you do? No, it was never
Yeah.
like that, which was like a huge change.
Yeah, it completely changes the status game in sales, because sales is obviously a status game when they start from the what are you, who do like what are you doing here, why are we even on this conversation, and then you have to fight back, as opposed to somebody coming warm, at least problem aware enough and solution aware enough of what they need,
Yeah.
and now it's just a matter of making sure that we're the right fit together. So that makes total sense. And you shared a screenshot on Twitter the other day, and we were talking about it on our call yesterday. But how many calls are you booking right now? Just so everybody can be aware of the effectiveness of these types of systems.
I mean, this week it was we did get some no shows, but this week was 7. Last week I had 6. Like this month has been probably like close to 25 calls. Now, granted, some of them are not qualified, and
Sure.
insert whatever thing, but so many like compared to before. Like I'm having my Wednesdays are sales call days. The Wednesdays, they're backed out, and then it'll be the case of you're just selling that, which is great because before I never had that. Before it was like one call here, one call there. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I also saw a meme that you shared on Twitter of it's a guy pointing a gun at another guy and it says one call my whole day, right? And so
Yeah.
yeah, I saw that one too. And so no, I mean when they're so sporadic like that, it's like you got to base your whole day around that versus the ability to really control your calendar and your schedule around that. And so if Wednesdays are your sales call day, I'm glad that you can make some time for us to chat through this stuff during your sales call days. Hopefully, we're not taking you away from closing more 10K deals, but we'll see. But
Yeah.
cool. Okay, that makes sense. So that was a lot of the before side. I want to know from you. So on the moving up to enterprise client side, we've gone a lot through different strategies, systems, ads, sales, offer, decks, pitching, all these different things. Like, what would you say are the systems or processes that have made the biggest difference?
Systems and processes from you outside of sales.
No, including sales. Just what do you think has
Oh,
been the thing that's made the biggest difference?
for me, it was the sales process, the pre-call flow, which I found was getting deactivated on close for a while because when Typeforms, no, when Calendly would send the email, it would stop the workflow. So I was like, yeah. But
Stupid.
recently, it's been a lot better. So that the pre-call flow systems, the way that you think of the whole sales system, which is like ads, and then you have you warm them up, and then if you don't close on the first call, you need to get them on a second call. But to get them on a second call, you have to give them a reason to come to the second call, or they would never come to the second call. That for me is fantastic. And then it's how you upsell and all of these things that you don't think about when you're starting out, because you just think, oh, MRR, close this client, 3K a month, stack it. I'm making 10K a month with 5 clients. That's what I care about. Whereas you're like, we're in the service based business. We need to build a good service, and there needs to be a system for how you do that service. So that for me was very useful. And then, I mean, I think it's your way of problem solving. I don't think there's anything that you can kind of pinpoint, but the way that you solve problems in all the calls is very unique. A lot of coaches will be like, we just say this worked, this didn't work, but you will almost do each problem like a sales call. You try and problem solve and ask questions and get to the root of it, and you're 99% of the time spot on.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm a big believer in not making assumptions because you know what they say about people who make assumptions, right? It makes an ass out of you and me,
Yeah,
and that's bit me in the ass a lot in my life. And so yeah, man, whenever you or anybody else comes with an issue, it's like okay, we've got to diagnose what is actually happening here, so that we're not just making assumptions that we know the underlying problems. Because if we don't know what's actually happening, there's no way we can come to a real solution here. And so I appreciate you saying that. That's very nice. So you touched a little bit on different like systems or whatever else inside of the sales process though, because I know that's where we spend a lot of time for you, especially now as you're like having so many sales calls. We're spending a lot of time there. Like in the sales process itself, you mentioned the audit call or the second call that actually has some value that people show up to. Is there anything else maybe in pitch decks, offer, pitching, discovery, like things that inside the sales process that have had a large impact on your ability to close larger deals?
yeah. The way that we structure the offer is different. Most coaches, in fact, almost all of them, were like outrageous outcome, like huge promise, and Alex Ramos's value equation, whatever, like to the max on steroids. Yours was like figure out what they really need and solve for the problem, rather than like like a really nice carrot with like a lot of sprinkles on the side, and the carrot's green. Like your way of approaching the offer was very different. The way you approach having a pitch deck. A lot of sales coaches will say don't have a pitch deck, um, and also how you do the packages, and the like is obviously going to be unique for every single client. But
Sure.
the way that you did it was very useful for me. And then on top of that, I think it was when we started and you helped me with the offer, you even gave the market sophistication level. I was like, what? We doing? But when I read it, I was like, it makes so much sense. Like you actually are studying the market at it as it is. And then that was very useful for applying all the information on the sales deck.
Yeah. That makes sense. I'm glad it's been helpful, man. One thing, there's two things that you said that I think are really important. Number one, it's the like understanding the level of market sophistication. Like this is basic marketing and offer creation 101 that the vast majority of people never get into because everybody's looking for some crazy tactic, some new thing, and they completely skip basics and fundamentals. I think I hear so often in our group calls that like they go, the things that you say sound so simple. And like, yeah, that's on
Yeah,
purpose because the simple scales, right? Versus all these fancy things. And so, especially when it comes to understanding level of market sophistication, like what so many of us make an error doing, and I've done myself, is thinking for the market instead of from the market. Right, like actually going, what do these people need? How problem aware are they? How solution aware are they? How brand aware are they? And where can we meet them where they're at? So that way, our solution, our offer, feels natural and a lot easier to sell versus just, hey, here's a crazy outcome, and hopefully that is the exact outcome that you're looking for, because everybody has a different outcome that they're looking for. And so and don't even get me started on guarantees. You know how I feel about that. And so you make a good point there. The other thing that you said that I think is really important to just hit on for a second, um I've heard from you and other people who come from other programs, and not trying to say bad things about other programs. There are plenty of other great programs out there, but I hear a lot of them say, like, don't use a pitch deck. It's a waste of time, whatever. You came from that methodology of don't use a pitch deck, and now you're using a pitch deck. And from, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, so correct me if I'm wrong. It seems to be very helpful. Can you maybe articulate or
yeah.
explain why you feel like the pitch deck is very helpful for you, especially when
I
trying to
will,
close larger
I will
clients?
definitely, yeah, I will glaze the pitch deck forever. Before I do, I haven't been asked for a guarantee in any call I've done. Whereas before,
Boom.
when I was doing the
Chat,
guarantees,
clip that.
yeah,
Clip that.
clip that right now. Chat, you see this?
Yeah.
So regarding the pitch deck, it's very helpful because the most important part of the sales process is having a good discovery, so you know and I'm going through all these lessons, so I'm not perfect here, but you use so much brain energy in the whole discovery that when you have to pitch, if you have to use your brain again for that, it's very difficult, it's very taxing, and then you have to do the objection handling. So when you have a pitch deck, not only can you visually see what you're going to get, it makes it easy for you to present as a salesperson, but also the client's going to go, they have a pitch deck, that's actually pretty cool. And if you structure the pitch deck to be, only a couple minutes, 3 minutes tops, I guess. And, for me who sells creatives, show the creatives and show the process and show some stuff and show the case studies right there. It's better than just saying your 3 pillars and going, yeah, so we'll do this first and this one and this one. They go, okay, cool. Um, I guess let me see, like, what do you got for me? Like, what do you have? So if you're in the marketing space, even if you're sending cold email, like showing the cold emails that you do or showing how you set things up, like someone's gonna perceive that as like a lot higher, more expensive because they have. And then when you show the packages, you're like, here are the packages. Like it doesn't seem like made up. And in my opinion, if you're selling to enterprise clients, that's what enterprise clients want to see.
Agreed. And I hear a lot of people, and you hit on something, you kind of glossed over it real quickly there, but it's not about having this long 100 slide pitch deck that's super boring and everybody's eyes glaze over when they do it. It's like 3 to 5 minutes, rock right through it, show like the visual, paint a picture for the people of what it is that you're going to do. And you can paint a picture with your words, sure, but you can paint a picture significantly better with an actual picture, right? Like showing them what it is. And I'm a huge believer, and I've seen this for myself and with everybody that I work with, that perception is reality, and sales is the entry point of what their expectation of working with you is going to look like. Right. And so if I can come to you and I can go, hey, if you're blown away by a well designed deck, it looks super professional. The first thing that you're subconsciously thinking is like, wow, this agency is really well put together, versus the ones who just go off the top of their head, send you a Google Doc as a contract, and you're like, these seem like bottom of the barrel people, which is why you command bottom of the barrel prices. And so I think you make a good point there. So I appreciate you saying that. So from a transitional standpoint, a lot of people are obviously worried about like, hey, how do I make this transition? How do I do this? Is there a lot of hurdles to overcome or whatever? What I want to know from you, and please like shoot me straight, be super honest here. What was the most challenging part about you making the transition from lower clients to enterprise clients, and how did you overcome that?
For me, it was mainly a mindset thing. I think, just being honest, like I had a lot of like operational issues, financial issues with the business. We were very unprofitable. with these small clients. So I knew I had to do something else, but it was also a lot of negative belief. Am I even worthy of charging this much? Will an enterprise? I think I just imagined this enterprise guy in a suit and this enterprise like logo on the back, and it's like, you are cheap. And I don't know why I just imagined that in my head. So for me, it was this limiting belief of, can I even do that? Can I even switch to this model? But it came out of necessity because um it makes sense to sell to these big clients what we're doing, because it takes time, it's a lot of effort, and we believe a lot in our service. But it was very difficult for me to even believe it in the first place. But when I remember it was a Friday, I was really sad because I was like, oh, this shit isn't working. And then I closed a 10K client one time for ad creatives, and my girlfriend was there. She's like, what? And then like 2 hours later, I had another call, and there was an 8K for a different brand, and she was like, and then I was like, I can't even lie, I wasn't even happy. I was more like, oh, thank God this actually, thank that I'm so happy this actually worked. And now I have that belief held on to me, so I know that there will be somebody else there. So I'm trying. It's easier for me not to be bummed out when I don't close this like deal for 4K or less. So yeah.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I very much remember the need to push through. And that is not unique to you. That's everybody, right? Everybody goes, "Yeah, I see that, there's other people who are doing it and maybe I could possibly do it, but until it happens for you, then it's always going to be something that you struggle with, and then you see it happen, and then it happens twice in one day and you're like, "Okay, I think we're on to something here." I remember you dropping in our community Slack like, "Boys, we did it. Like we are there." And so no,
Yeah.
it made me super excited for you. Because I was like, okay, he's done it now. We've unlocked something inside of him, and now it's just off to the races. So that's a great, not planned segue into my next question, which is based on this now unlock that we have, like next 6 to 12 months as we go through the rest of 2025, like where do you see yourself going from here?
Just more and better. I think more for me. It's I want to hit 100K a month from these enterprise clients. I want to stress test the systems in the business. At some point, my goal is to sell it for some equity and then become an advisor for it. Get really fucking good at sales. Like that's such a good goal for me. Like I just want to be able to, even it like at just a core skill level, be able to go, yeah, that was a good call. Like maybe it didn't close, but I feel like that was a good call. So I think this year is gonna be just scaling it more better, more ad creators. I'm shooting some tomorrow, so yeah, which should be good. That's the
Perfect.
goal.
Send those over to me. We'll review them. We'll make sure they're. But you make such great ad creative that I'm not
Thank you.
worried about your output on that side. I mean, it's great. By the way, if y'all need UGC, that's the guy that you should absolutely hit up for any type of business, because we niche by problem and not industry, so he can solve that no matter what you sell. Anyway, that was not a paid sponsorship for Camilo, but it is the truth. So okay,
Yeah.
now I want to get into nitty gritty numbers on actual like the program itself, right? So from an ROI perspective of us working together, would you say it's been ROI profitable? What would you say the ROI has been? Has it been worth it?
Yeah, 100%. I would say it's like a 5x ROAS on maybe even more. I didn't done the math properly, but I would say, and to your credit, you you put a lot of effort into it, and it's just you. And I know you're building the team now, but I've been to programs that were single person programs. I've been to ones that have multiple coaches, and just the fact that you're willing to put in the time and effort into you're also very good at like commanding and leading people, and everything that you do is so simple. Like even like you use a word like a word document, and it's just so simple. It's so simple that it's been great. So 100% massive ROI. Unless you've doubled, tripled the price, I don't know what you're doing now, but
It is a little bit higher than what you paid now, but as things get better over time, so do the prices. Just like you.
inflation,
Yeah, yeah, something like that. Tariffs, right? We got tariffs on
tariffs.
services now. But no, I appreciate you saying that, man. Yeah, we're building the team, but for the main part, I take a lot of pride is probably a bad word. But I do take a lot of pride in like really wanting people to succeed. Like that's the whole reason that I'm doing this. I know how difficult it can be, and so I am more than willing to invest my time, energy, effort into working with each person individually to make sure they achieve their goals. And if that takes people go, that's not scalable. I don't really care. Like, that's not my goal here, is not to build a scalable coaching company. It's to make sure people get great results. And so it's been great to see that for you. So
Awesome.
as we kind of wrap up here, I have two last questions. So first, other agency owners who are stuck in these smaller clients, they're not really feeling it anymore, and they want to make the leap to enterprise clients. What would your advice to them be?
Hmm. You're probably worth it more than you think. Like
Good.
you just can't do it with these 2K, 3K month clients. This is not, it's not scalable. Like, do it for your mindset as well.
I like that. That's good. Yeah, people will overlook the amount of belief or lack thereof that they have inside of themselves. And a lot of times, I mean, that kept me for a long time of selling way cheaper. Selling out of my own pocket is probably a good way to say it. And so, okay, well, that's good. And then last question that I have for you is for agency owners who are watching this right now, who are on the fence about our program, who are on the fence, maybe they heard about one of our workshops. What would you tell them about whether or not this was worth your time, your money, your energy? What would you tell them?
So they've probably seen content from other coaches. So they either are going to be skeptical or unsure, or they come from another one. So I would just say that it's not like all the other ones. It's very different. He has a lot of industry experience. And I would say, if you want to learn from someone who's made a lot of mistakes, but also made a lot of success, then definitely the person to go to.
I appreciate that, man. Means a lot. Well, cool. Thanks again, everybody. By the way, if you want to check out one of our workshops, enterpriseclients.com/workshop, you can check it out. We got another one coming up here, depending on when you watch this. There is one on May 19th, but there will be more in the future after that. So again, Camilo, appreciate your time. Thanks for being with us. Y'all take it easy. Peace.
Take care. Bye.